Oh, we're live. We are live, and I didn't get a countdown. I expected to get a countdown, but I did not. We are on the air right now. If anyone is subscribed to me and getting a notification and wants to watch this live, feel free. But probably most of you are watching this way later, significantly later, hopefully. So we are going to do this with several people in the game. Those of you who know what I'm talking about, we've over the last 3 weeks been playing a game of Big Brother. Yes, it was 3 weeks, 24/7, nonstop, and boy, did it stress people out. Especially the guests that we have in today's first deep dive into this player's thoughts in the game, decisions they made, and ultimately a fifth place finish. We are joined by none other than this guy that I met 3 weeks ago, and by 3 weeks ago, I mean 4 years ago. 24 years ago. I remember that. I mean, I should know how old you are because you're my brother, but I remembered for sure because Tucker just turned 24 the other day, and you're a week older than him.
I am a week older than him.
And I never met. I always think that.
Hey, Josh,
Yeah.
you're holding the microphone that you talk into in your hand and smacking the headphones against it.
Oh, whoops. Then I'm gonna switch headphones. And there's the introduction. It's Bradley Consalvo.
That's me.
First, I gotta ask. Sorry for those that just had to listen to me smacking the microphone over and over again, but we're amateurs here. Sorry, I keep looking back behind me. I keep thinking someone's gonna walk in the store, and they're not. All right, but I gotta ask, what are the feelings of this game being over?
I'm glad it's over. I didn't want to be voted out when I got voted out, but like 6 hours after I was voted out, I was just like, oh my gosh, thank you. I don't have to be mean to anybody anymore. I don't have to worry about hurting people's feelings anymore. I'm okay.
Yeah, that seemed to be a thing that I wasn't expecting. Was everyone getting really upset all the time?
I told you days 000, people are going to be real life mad.
I don't remember that, but a lot of people probably told me that over the course of this whole thing, and it did happen. People did get really upset over a lot of things. Well, we'll get to it, but like, what was the initial reaction to your eviction?
I don't know. I just blanked on emotions. I was so pissed off. I didn't know. I was just so mad because I thought I knew not to trust Lane, but at the same time, he still said, "We've had a final two deal since the beginning of this game. Even though you just voted Ashton out, we can still stick to it." And I was like, "Okay, maybe I can trust this." And then he voted me out, and I was like, I was also like in the middle of running calls, so I didn't have time to be mad, but I had nothing but time to only be mad. I didn't have time to think about it. I just had time to be angry.
Right. Okay. So that actually transitions us to the beginning. You said you had a final two deal with Lane. When did that happen? Why did that happen? And yeah,
What was the question?
When did your final two deal with Lane like happen?
Like maybe a few days after you said you had the idea to do Big Brother. And his initial idea was, yo, me, you, Ashton, final three, but I'm not going to keep her. I want to beat her. So let's do me and you final two. And I was like, okay, this sounds like he's being genuine about it because it'd be fun to get Ashton the final three. And then he could be like, ha, I beat you. He didn't seem like he was going to be compassionate towards her just because they're dating in a game, even though either one of them wins, both of them acquired $100.
Right.
So it is what it is. But I was like, okay, yeah, that'll work. And then I started talking to Chris, and I was like, this seems like a whole lot better of an option than Lane. But I'm not gonna step away from Lane and Ashton. And I was like, I'm gonna stick with Lane and Ashton, and I'm also gonna stick with Chris. And the plan is to kind of get out whoever I needed to first from those three people. but I didn't want to be the one to be HOH when it happened. And I can honestly say I was not HOH when any of those three were eliminated. I just made the votes I had to make, and the only one that was mean was when I voted Ashton out. I think the rest of them were pretty obvious that I was against Lane. I was on the block against Lane, so I couldn't do anything about that the first time he was eliminated.
Right. Okay, so we'll get to that because I have some things that you probably don't even know about that eviction, especially. So then you win HOH on day one, and you seemingly were thrust in the middle of a lot of things.
Yes. Caught in the middle of two very obvious sides of the house. If you can call them sides, I guess. Okay, so I guess you could call it like a triangle maybe. So you had the couples, you had the anti-couples, and then you had everybody there in the middle. And then there was Tyler somewhere floating around. Nobody knew where Tyler was with anything. And I think that's kind of where the monkeys in the middle started to form. I sent a text to Tucker, Jenny, and Chris, and it was all the name was is "What are we?" ? And that's where that group kind of formed into the monkeys in the middle, because we were like, we don't really know where we are. We just kind of see what's happening. So there's obviously Ian, Allie, Ashton, and Lane were the couples, and then there was very obviously Sarah and Drew. And then I think Daniel was just kind of categorized with them because that's all we knew, is that they knew each other. And then it was very easy to just kind of, for the four of us to just kind of jump side to side. Like, okay, which side is going to be easier to team with right now? Well, it was kind of easier to team with the couples at first and go for, no, lies. It was easier to go with Drew and Sarah and Daniel and just go for the couples, because I think everybody was in agreement that keeping a solid group of four people who were going to vote with each other no matter what together was a bad idea. Like, we all knew Sarah would do what Sarah had to do, even if that meant getting out Drew or Daniel or whatever. But we knew that Allie, Ian, Ashton, and Lane were going to stick together no matter what. I guess you could call them the Four Horsemen, as they like to call themselves.
Right.
But if at any point any of the four of them thought, we're a secret alliance and nobody knows that we're working together, well, you're dumb.
Did they think that?
Was just, I hope not. I think the only thing secret about them was their name.
Yes, that's something I was privy to, but obviously I didn't think anyone else actually knew that. But I knew that Ian was probably going out first. So I was like, this isn't going to last.
Yeah. I mean, the only thing secret about them was that they had a name, and that within their group name, they each had their own names. But
yes,
whatever.
So in that first vote with Ian, was that the reason you went that way was because the monkeys wanted you to?
No, I was kind of listening to everybody, and I listened to what everybody had to say. That doesn't mean I did what everybody wanted me to do, because I told Ashton and Lane from the start, okay, I'm getting Ian out. In turn, pissing them off. But I told them, look, I'm going to go for Ian. So pretty much everyone except for Allie and Ian knew that I was going to go for Ian. But at the same time, I was kind of like, I'm going to put Ian and who did I put up with him? Daniel. I put Ian and Daniel up, and it was like said, you're a pawn, everyone's a pawn, we're all pawns. Let's say Ian would have won the veto. I would have probably put up Drew or somebody else. I was probably not going to put up Allie, because Ian was more powerful in the game without Allie than Allie would have been. Well, I mean, she made it to the end, but in my mind, Allie was nowhere near as powerful without Ian. as Ian would have been powerful alone anyways. Like
Right.
Ian would have been fine by himself. And I thought Allie would be out sooner, but she managed to, I guess, ride this horse all the way to the end.
Well, okay. So then after Ian was evicted, I guess then you had to damage control with Lane a little bit because from what I was seeing and what I was getting, Lane thought you were the stupidest HOH in the history of HOHs.
Well, that's fine because I know he was gunning for me that next week.
Was he?
He thought about it. He told me he thought about it. He said, I thought about getting you out week 2. But that's fine.
Which I guess he could have had the power to with Ashton being HOH next.
Yeah. What did I do? Daniel, okay, so Daniel went up and Daniel won his first of many veto challenges. And then I put Drew up next to Ian, right?
Yep.
After that, I found out that Drew was very petty mad at me and was dead set on putting me on the block no matter how he had to do it, no matter what, because he was mad that I put him on the block and that it was a vote of 4-3 and it was way too close for his own comfort. Even though when I pulled Daniel off the block, I told him, I said, pull yourself off the block. I have a plan. It's going to sound weird, but everyone's going to be okay. And that was simply just to put Drew up for funsies. And Ian was going to go home, and that's what happened. So while Drew was mad, I told Daniel the truth. I didn't tell Drew anything because I got a very mean text from him after I put him on the block, to which I didn't reply to until after Drew came off, or until after Ian went home. And my text was simply, would you like to take that back now? And he was like, no, blah, 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 blah. I'm mad. So I was actually I wasn't even worried about Lane. I didn't know he wanted to put me up second week until like last week when he told me that. But I was like, well, crap. Now Drew can't win because Drew's going to put me up. And then I think he found a way to put me and no, Tyler put us up eventually, put me and Drew up, and Daniel, Tyler put me and Lane up.
No, Tyler put you. Well, eventually, Tyler put you and Ashton up.
And then Drew used the veto to pull Ashton off the block.
Right.
And I think he only did that just to keep me on there. That was like his only reasoning behind it. Unless he knew that they were going to go for Lane and get Lane out. Well, I don't know. Nobody, in my opinion, no one knew what Tyler was thinking. Unless, I mean, you know more than I do. But
well, I can fill you in a second. But was there anything interesting about Sarah's eviction or was that just to go with the flow? It seemed like everyone was kind of go with the flow in Sarah's eviction.
With Sarah's eviction, it definitely was kind of a, hey, we're going to get Sarah out. And everyone was like, that sounds easy and less stressful than anything else. Let's just go ahead and do that. And I even told her, she said, hey, I'm just trying to figure out where everybody stands with the votes, da-da-da. And I was like, I don't really know. I'm just still trying to decide who's the better option, blah, blah, blah. And then I finally said, look, I'm done beating around the bush. I think I'm going to vote you out. I'm sorry. And she's like, well, thank you for being honest. So, again, honest Bradley plays again. No blood on my hands. That was week 2 out of the way. It was so insignificant to my game in as a whole that I didn't even think about it.
Okay, so then Tyler wins head of household and puts up you and Ashton. And makes his big speech about how everyone said to go for you and Ashton.
I don't believe that in any way, shape, or form.
Okay, well, I can officially confirm that was a 100% lie.
Yeah. Absolutely.
He came to me and he told me, when I put these out, I'm not sure when I'm going to put these out yet, but I've been making episodes, and this is in the episode for this, is Tyler's confessional to me, basically saying that all of his, direct message he's getting, he threw out the window. He was putting up 2 people that no one told him to put up and was just going to say, this is who everyone told me to put up. He was doing that because, one, if he was going to get a foothold in the game, he wanted to just make a splash. And 2, because he was not always playing, he wanted to make fun.
Yeah. It was very, very, very obvious that he was lying, and I don't think anybody believed him that they said put me and Ashton up. Whereas a lot of people may have said, even myself said, hey, so here's the sides of the house I see. There's the anti-couples and there's the couples. If you were thinking about maybe putting up someone from those people, but I never said put up Lane, put up Ashton, put up Drew, put up whoever. I just said here are the two little groups I see that are stirring up problems. And even Chris was like, I may have said Lane and Ashton or this, that, and the other, but me and Chris were just like, who in the world said Bradley? Because there was just to me, I didn't think that there was any reason to even target me at that point. So me getting put up that time, I was just like, what? Okay, sure. That's a thing.
So Drew wins that veto, pulls Ashton, and then Lane is up. Okay,
Yes.
Talk me through now. Lane is on the block next to you, and we have a close vote.
What were the votes on that one?
Let's see. It was 4-3 for Lane to go home. Tucker, Ashton, and Allie all voted you out.
That's right. I had Daniel vote for me to stay. Drew voted for me to stay because he doesn't like Lane for absolutely no reason because he's a jerk. So Daniel voted for me. Drew voted for me. I had a group message with them going on where I was like, this is where I had to do my damage control with Drew. And he was like, blah, 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 I'm mad. And I was like, you didn't go home, did you? He's like, no, but I'm mad. And I was like, you didn't go home, did you? Yeah. And I told him I was honest with him. I was honest with Daniel. So I convinced Drew and Daniel to vote for me. And then I thought I had the monkeys where I would have had Drew, Tucker, Jenny, and Chris. But Tucker came to me after that and said, look, I'm so sorry I voted for you. Lane fed me some sort of BS and convinced me that you were gunning for me and that I couldn't trust you and all this. And I was like, whatever. I get it. It's high stress. It's easy to believe people.
Well, what you don't also know is that Jenny was very close to voting you out that night. She was I assume you don't know this. Jenny was very close to voting you out until you called her. When you called her that night,
she felt so bad she couldn't do it.
She couldn't do it because Lane did the same thing, had gotten in her head, made some valid points, and her and Tucker had just gotten off the phone and didn't know what to do. Tucker kind of knew he was going to vote you out because he wanted to keep Ashton's trust, which is very funny going forward. Yeah. But then you called Jenny and essentially saved your game.
Well, my thought was, did Lane really feed her good points, or did Lane lie straight to her face like he did to everybody in the entire game for the entire game?
Right, I'm not sure.
Literally, I'd hear things people were telling me Lane was saying, and I was like, I'm supposed to have a Final Two alliance with him, so I don't know if I should tell them, hey, he is straight lying to your face. So I didn't say much, but then there was times I would tell Chris, I'm like, I have no idea where Lane's getting this from and why he's saying it. That's why Lane, like me and Jenny were always saying, Lane's playing a very dangerous game. He's playing a very dangerous game. If he didn't win his way back into the game, it would have been fine because he literally lied to everyone the entire game, which in turn, I guess, wound up being a good thing. But I told him, was it Saturday night? The night before the Final Three, HOH, I told him, I said, if you don't win tomorrow, you're leaving. Yeah, I don't know. I got alliances with Jenny. I got alliances with Al. I said, if you don't win the final HOH tomorrow, you're going home. And the two of them would be bigger idiots than Drew to keep you with them to Final Two. You will lose. You'd better win or you're going to lose. You've done nothing but lie to everybody. Why would they keep you?
I have more to say on that in a minute, but this is a great thing because now we're at Drew's eviction, which I also think was a very big round in this game. Wait, are we at Drew's eviction? No, we're at Tyler's eviction.
Tyler's?
Yeah, Ashton was the HOH, and she gets Tyler out. And I don't think there's anything really big to talk about there.
I don't think there's ever anything big to talk about in the game when it comes to Tyler. Carry on next.
Okay, so then we have the battle back competition, which was probably the most stressful day of the entire game, just top to bottom. There's just a lot that went on that day. But at the end of the day, we got Lane back in the game and Jenny winning the HOH.
Yes.
And you wanted Drew out desperately.
Yeah, because I didn't trust him either. I thought he was lying to everybody. I thought he was not playing a game strategically. He was playing more based on his feelings towards people that he didn't know well enough.
Okay, and then became the decision. So Jenny puts up Allie and Daniel, and she's essentially gunning for Allie here, but it's okay with either of them leaving. Daniel wins the next veto he won, then Jenny is very torn with what to do here, and you are in her ear trying to get her to put Drew up, and she's trying to keep Drew safe and get Allie out. Why do you think
she's trying to keep Drew safe? Why was she trying to keep Drew safe?
Yes.
Because he was an easy target to get out at any point that she may have wanted to keep him, or because he was possibly working with Tucker and Jenny was working with Tucker.
Or the real truth, Jenny and Drew were working together.
But she got him out, so clearly she didn't care enough about working.
Okay, so, I mean, here's basically all that happened. I mean, Jenny and Drew were definitely working together. They had phone conversations. They had texted a lot. They had even made like a pseudo final two deal. So Jenny really wanted Drew safe. Like, that's why she was fighting so hard, because she knew she had him. She knew she had his trust. She knew she had what she needed from him, and she wanted to get Allie out. So she didn't want to put Drew up. And so then, I'm sure you know this by now, that Lane and Ashton lied to Jenny in this round.
Yeah, they told her that they would get Daniel out, but they went for Drew. I knew they were going to.
They would get Allie out. They said they would get Allie out because if Jenny promised not to put Lane on the block, which she should have done. Well, Jenny won, so what should she have done? Whatever. It doesn't really matter.
Whatever. But yes, I remember them telling her that, and I told her to her face. Again, honest Bradley strikes again. I'm voting for Drew if you put him up.
Right.
So she knew that, and Chris was going to vote for Drew.
Right, and she thought she had Ashton and Lane because they promised that they'd vote Allie out.
Yes.
Which they did not, and Drew went home on Jenny's HOH, which was not great for Jenny because she wanted Drew safe, and she thought
Jenny won.
Jenny won. Right, and she thought Allie would be gunning for it. So Drew goes home there, and I think this kind of starts the downward spiral towards the end of the game, but obviously towards probably its biggest climax of the entire game, which was then Tucker's
coming back.
Well, Lane's already back. This Tucker's HOH.
Okay, that's right. Yeah,
Tucker's HOH.
Side note: things that make me mad. I saved Allie, even though I knew I shouldn't have saved Allie because I knew she was going to gun back for me eventually for getting Ian out. But I saved Allie so many times, or helped save Allie so many times, for her to vote me out over, who was I up against? Over Daniel. Was it Daniel? No.
Yeah.
Was it?
Yes. No. Yes, it had to be. No. It was Jenny.
It was me and Jenny. For her to save Jenny over me, that just. Anyways, carry on. Tucker's HOH, the worst, biggest goof of the entire game. Worst HOH in Big Brother history.
Okay, so tell me why this was a good move for you at the time, why you knew it was the right move, and then tell me why it was eventually the wrong move.
It was like a tie between whether it was a good move or a bad move. I wish I had the notes I wrote, but I was in the mountains and I wrote them on a piece of paper up there. The numbers seemed to work better in our favor for getting rid of Ashton because there was still the four of us. There was still me, Jenny, Chris, and Tucker. So I was like, okay, I get that. That makes sense. Getting rid of Ashton keeps our numbers the same. But then I was like, but if we don't get rid of Ashton and we keep Daniel, or we get rid of Daniel and we keep Ashton, then I still essentially will have Ashton and Lane, and probably, since Allie works with them, Allie's vote, and that would be better for me. But Chris and Tucker were like, hey, this is better for our game. And for some reason I was like, okay, if it's better for y'all's game, then it's better for all four of ours game versus it being better for mine and Jenny's game, not all four of ours game. So I was like, okay, yeah, monkeys for life. Let's just vote Ashton out. And me and Jenny talked a billion times, like I'm sure you know, just within that hour. And I voted for Ashton. I threw my phone down and I went out and rode four-wheelers and dirt bikes. I was like, I'm just not going to deal with this. And I was like, I felt bad. It was horrible. I didn't want to do it. It was stupid. And then right after that, bam, bam, Chris, bam, Tucker, bam,
Which is
man.
funny.
I was like,
Which is funny that I mean, first of all, Lane winning HOH right after was probably worst case scenario for the Monkeys. But it's funny that Chris and Tucker were the ones that wanted to get Ashton out for the sake of their safety, and then they were
the first two to go.
Yep.
Well, as soon as Lane won that HOH next, he was like, look at your lists you sent me from the beginning of the game, and look at your order of when you sent Chris out. He was like, this is that time. I was like, crap, you're right. Do it. I said, just do it. I'll vote for him, whatever. I didn't want to do it either, but I knew I couldn't keep Chris till the end because I was afraid. I knew I would probably lose against him on the final two. But it just seemed like the right thing. I pissed off Lane, so I might as well make him happy and do what he wants for the time being.
Right. Right. So in a sense, where the Ashton move was supposed to protect Chris and Tucker, it actually protected you and Jenny.
Yes, absolutely.
Which is funny. Where otherwise, yeah. I mean, I guess the other move that if you guys don't vote Ashton out there, you're actually going for like Daniel or Allie.
That was my plan.
Which kind of throughout the whole game was like Daniel was the safe person to put up on the block, and he kept surviving and surviving and surviving.
Yeah.
So Ashton goes
to my HOH.
No, next
no, because we already got Chris out. We've already talked about that.
Oh,
unless there's things I don't know, because I felt like that was a pretty quick, okay, whatever, Chris is up, you're going home kind of thing.
Yeah, Lane put up Jenny and Tucker. Daniel wins the balderdash. He pulls Jenny, puts up Chris, and you voted Chris out. That was kind of – I didn't expect you to do that, actually. I expected you to keep Chris over Tucker, and then the vote would have been 2-2, which Chris would goes home either way because Lane would have probably taken Chris out on the tiebreaker. So I guess
I didn't really have a choice. Yeah.
All right. So
and then I win HOH. Right.
Then you win the slide puzzle.
Oh man, that was so awesome. I woke up.
You kind of won that on accident.
Okay. I lost everything on purpose throughout this entire game. I did not win anything, and everything I lost, I definitely lost on purpose. But I did not win this on purpose. I woke up, I rolled over, and I just started tapping, and I was like, okay, I see how it's moving. And then I was like, oh, I'm done. And I looked in the corner at the time, and I looked at the puzzle. I was like, I just won. Oh, no. I did not want to win at all. I was so mad. And then you were like, you tried that once? I was like, crap, I definitely won. So.
Okay, so you're HOH.
This
is probably – I think this is where you lost the game.
I don't know, though. I think, I had to get Daniel out, and that was where Lane convinced Daniel not to use the veto on himself. And at that point, there was almost no convincing. I almost convinced Lane to still vote Daniel out anyway in the biggest lie in Big Brother history. But, we were on the phone, and I was at work, and Lane was like, I don't know. He's like, if I vote Daniel out, he's like, I just lied straight to his face, and I'm going to feel so bad. And I literally was like, vote for Tucker. Just do it. Oh, my God, just vote for Tucker. And I hung up on him.
Oh, so
I felt so bad. If I can go back, I'd say vote him out anyways. Screw his feelings.
No, if you could go back to
make a meme about it.
If you could go back to the start of your HOH, are you gunning for Daniel or Tucker?
Yes. Either one of them went home, I felt like was okay for me.
Right. So there was basically I'm asking this
is if Daniel pulled himself off the block, that Allie was going to go up next to Tucker. Right. That was what was going to happen there, but I was trying hard to save Tucker to the point that we got Daniel to keep himself on the block, and Tucker was like, "You're a mastermind," and I didn't want to be like Lane's doing all of it, but Lane did all of it. I barely spoke to Daniel that day. I told him, I even sent him a message. I said, dumb question. Any chance you won't use the veto? And he never responded. But he kept himself safe. And then in turn, keeping himself safe without using the veto on himself, he turned around and voted me out right after that.
Right. So there was never a time where you considered in this HOH I guess this is around the time where you were starting to toy around with the idea of a you, Lane, and Jenny final three.
Yes.
Talk about that.
That was so hard to agree to with her because I knew where she was coming from. If I make it to final three with you and
Tell me
Lane, I
what.
get backdoored.
Right.
That's what she was thinking. And hindsight, I should have done the final three with the two of them and voted Lane out at final three and kept Jenny to the end. I think I still would have beat Jenny. I think I would have beat everybody that was left in the game at this point in final two.
Mm-hmm.
I would have beat Daniel. I would have had more votes for sure. I would have beat Allie. I would have beat Jenny. I would have beat Lane. I would have won. And Lane even told me after I got evicted, you would have beat all of us. We had to get rid of you. And I'm like, thanks. So you're telling me I'm so good that you needed me gone, but whatever. I didn't even win all that many competitions. We'll get there. I want to know what Daniel's thought was for putting me on the block and evicting me. Lane told me Allie was voting for me no matter what, even though I sent her nice messages and told her I saved her so many times, please save me. And Lane was all, and I'm like, crap. And then he was like, well, Allie already voted for you. And then I got a message from him that said, I'm sorry. And then I was like, sorry for what? Then I saw the video where I got evicted, and I'm like, shoot. He said, I have to keep Daniel happy. Meaning Daniel was going to evict me no matter what if it was a tie. So I would have had to have convinced Allie and Lane to both keep me in the game, but that wasn't going to happen. So, whatever.
I don't know if Daniel had a whole lot of thoughts in putting you on the block. He did that. He made that decision very quickly.
Yeah.
I was about to ask you something else, and I don't remember what it was. I lost it. You were evicted. Yeah, you were evicted.
Yep. I think we talked about that at the beginning.
Right.
Much anger, such disappointment, very betrayal.
Right. And I know, guys, because from what I was gathering from Lane early was that, and I could talk to him about this more, but like I thought that he was going to gun for Jenny here, and then all of a sudden it turned on you. Do you have any insight on that?
Absolutely none whatsoever. I thought I was actually working pretty well with Daniel throughout most of the game without ever officially saying we were working together. Like, I kept him safe a whole lot of times and made deals with him a whole lot of times. And, you know, I never really truly gunned for him as much as...
I think this was more about Lane because, I mean, you were already on the block. And at this point, Lane has the big vote and has the veto and doesn't use it.
Yeah. I think, that was the other thing. That was what made me so mad more than anything was Lane could have just saved me and me and him could have made final two had he just used the veto on me.
Had he used the veto on you, was Jenny going home?
Allie would have went up. I would have voted Allie. Lane would have probably voted Jenny, and it would have been up to Daniel. I would not have voted Allie out of the game or Jenny out of the game.
Right. I know that Daniel was gunning for you. I'm not really sure why, but I know he was gunning for you. I think it's
because probably Lane told him to.
Probably a little bit Lane told him to because Daniel was doing a lot of what Lane was doing, which was really funny. Yeah. And Daniel and Jenny had kind of started to have a little bit of a working relationship. So I think, and I guess him and Allie already had one, but I'm not really sure. I haven't gotten all the details on that yet.
I don't even know.
All right, so you're evicted. So let's talk about really the end game now. You're looking at this. I mean, just now you're on the jury and you're angry, but you do have a vote. And
I did the equivalent of storming out of the house. Yeah, I went back and looked to see what was said.
Yes, you did do the equivalent of what
may have been the key Yes, that may have been the key factor in Allie not getting my vote, but whatever.
That's the key factor? Okay.
One of the key factors. I was mad. Still
all right,
mad.
So I guess we can just jump straight to your jury vote because you said that Jenny would have been dumb otherwise to not kick Lane out. Same with Allie. If she had won.
If she had got Allie out and kept Lane, I would have voted for Lane all day. Because Lane would have deserved to win more than the two of them. Lane played challenges hard. Lane won a lot of challenges. Lane got out of the house and back into the house. Lane had a say-so and was in everybody's ear in every eviction and every HOH and every veto and everything. So
I think it's an interesting discussion. Go ahead.
Getting Lane out was huge. You get Lane out, you guarantee that you at least have a better chance of winning.
Not to mention getting him out
Because-
twice, but
Yeah, yeah. So that was one thing is Jenny got Lane out. I was like, that was huge and smart. If you were stupid, I would have voted for Lane. Two, I just didn't feel like Allie truly deserved to win. I don't think she played a good enough game as much as she played a I'm going to lay low and be quiet kind of game, which I'm not. It works, but I'm not a big fan of that method of the game. I think that's how Steve wound up winning like 3 years ago. But I don't know. I liked Steve.
So I want to talk more about why your vote goes to Lane. Why is Lane better than Jenny?
I think Lane won more challenges. Lane won his way back into the game. Lane studied those videos and the comics and all that super hard to win things. He played a better game. It's not like everybody listened. It's not like where Paul was in there where everybody listened to Paul and did what Paul had to say.
Are you saying he played a better game had he made it to the end, or do you think that Jenny played a better game with how it actually turned out? I mean, even though she won. I mean, she won.
Jenny made the smartest move of the game by getting Lane out at the final 3. That was essentially the smartest move of the game that guaranteed her a win in my eyes. Even Lane voted for her.
Right.
Which blew my mind. He was pissing me off in the Big Brother house at the end when we were talking and asking questions. Because I was asking Allie and Jenny questions and Lane was answering. And I was like, stop, I'm not talking to you. But like, he was like, he even texted me and was like, I'm trying to, what did he say? I'm trying to direct the conversation. I was like, stop, I'm not talking to you.
Right. Well, that's when you ultimately left and just voted.
Yeah. I got on my weird outfit and I made my vote.
So, well, I guess that answers my question. And that's what I'm saying that I think Lane, though he did play a great game, and if he somehow maneuvered his way to the end, I could see him winning even against Jenny, who I still think played a better game because she was able to get blood on her hands, but she still had people wanting to work with her the entire game, and people trusted her no matter what, like the whole way. Yes, we're married. I understand that. I'm going to defend my wife. I understand that. But I truly think, and she didn't get a single eviction vote the whole game, was only on the block at the end of the game, was never a huge target, but was playing in it.
She played Bradley's Survivor game.
Yeah.
She played my Survivor game. Her name was only written down or used as a vote when it came time for her to win.
Right. And so I guess that kind of wraps it up. But so now we have Jenny as the winner. Is Jenny a worthy winner of the epicness that was the overall game?
Yes, absolutely.
Are you surprised by how the votes turned out in any way?
Yes, I did not think Lane was going to vote for Jenny. But I think my conversation with him the night before may have swayed that because I don't know if he was planning on voting for Jenny or not if she made it to final 2 without him. But the whole night I kept telling him, I was like, if you don't win and if you don't get the final 2, I'm voting for Jenny. I said, Jenny deserves to win. Jenny played more than Allie. Allie didn't do as much as Jenny did. And I'm not trying to be mean because I like Allie and I think we all became friends throughout it. But in a game, as a game, I don't know what I'm trying to say. This next part comes out as a strategy game move kind of thought. In my opinion, her plea to win was I made friends, and I don't think that's a good enough plea to win the game.
Right.
Like, awesome, you made friends and you played a good social game, whereas you were talking to everybody and nobody was really mad at you for anything, but nobody could be mad at you for anything because you didn't do anything important. That's just my thoughts on that.
Yeah, I think. I mean,
she let Lane and Ashton pretty much carry her the whole way there, and I felt bad when I asked that question in the Big Brother house, but at the same time, it was an honest question. Why do you feel like you weren't carried? But And to be fair, I'm pretty sure I sent that question after I made my vote anyway.
It was around the time.
Yeah. Your video went away, but you're still talking.
Oh, I'm here. I was surprised that Ashton voted for Allie. I thought she would vote for Jenny.
I think Ashton took more real life feelings to the vote than Lane did.
Yeah, maybe. And we'll talk. I'm talking to her tonight, so I'll figure out what. I mean, we talked a little bit about it, but I haven't talked to her about it now that the game is over and we're kind of removed from it.
Yeah.
You say you never play the game again. Is that still true?
Yeah, basically. It just depends. I'm never playing against all these people again, that's for
Right.
sure. But then
Dude,
I don't know who that would leave left. That's like all the people I know.
Well, if this ever happens again, well, we'll see. I need a long time away from it myself.
Yeah, this was the worst September of my life.
It was. This was kind of crazy that I pulled this off. And
it was awesome though.
A lot of people have told me
that
you
had this much put into it.
I didn't either until it started happening. A lot of people told me I need to sell this or market this in some way. I would have to probably change the name of things, but I could host it for other groups of people. That's easy. If I'm not emotionally invested, that makes this way easier.
Right?
Because it became more
makes
me.
It fun. Yeah, you can just have fun with it.
Right, and I can enjoy the game. I at the end was just dying because I was watching Jenny play this game so hard, and I wanted her to win it so badly.
Were you losing sleep over this game?
Oh, over the course of 3 weeks, absolutely.
Okay.
I could never turn my big brother brain off. But
it was crazy.
It was crazy. It was an adventure. We made it. That was Bradley's take on things, his role in the game. He was my winner pick. I think I told you that.
You told me that, yeah.
But he didn't win. I had a draft. Did you know that? I had a draft with someone.
You got a draft. What's that?
Like we each drafted a team, and whoever had the winner was the winning draft. I'll tell you what my draft. It was me and Deanna. We each drafted a team. She won because she picked Jenny first. She had the first pick, but I think I might have picked you first anyway because I had committed to you being my winner pick.
Because I would have won. If Lane was not back in the house, I would have won.
Maybe. I mean, it's very possible. Oh, where is it? I have so much Big Brother stuff in my phone. Okay, so yeah, Deanna had picked Jenny, Ian, Drew, Tyler, Sarah, and Daniel. Which of those, well, the way that the game turned out, her only hope was, well, Daniel had a shot. Well,
yeah.
Only hope was Jenny or Daniel. I had a team that I thought, I mean, my team made it deep. All of my people, well, except for Ashton, 5 of my 6 were the top 6. Well,
okay.
1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Maybe not. Who am I missing here? Anyway, Tucker went out at 6 right after. I had Ashton, Tucker, Chris, Lane, Allie, and you, which was a team that made it deep and played really well. But I didn't watch anyone. No. Anyway, all right, we should sign this off because I want to go home, and we've been talking for almost an hour. So.
Wow. Okay.
All right, so I hope you guys enjoyed this. We're doing a whole lot more of these. They're probably all up by now because I'm saving them all until I'm done with them all, and then I hope you guys are enjoying this, and I hope Go ahead.
Sorry. When are you putting up, when are you going to start putting episodes up?
I would like to finish them all, which is hard because I got so far behind. I was keeping up with them and making them, but then all of a sudden we were doing what was the equivalent of an episode every day, and I just got so behind. So hopefully soon, but I got to get to work on that. So by the time that this goes public, they'll probably be out. Maybe not. We'll see.
Bye, Julie.
Until next time, I'm Josh DeSalvo with Bradley, and that's been your Big Brother Deep Dive. Bye.